we're on the verge of the College World Series, and the great run that it is. You've gone to made 7 trips to Omaha. What about the College World Series makes it so special?
It's the greatest event in college sports in my mind. I'm very biased when I say that, probably because I'm in the sport. But people that have gone to the Final Four, people who have gone to the national championship game, and maybe it's because of the length of it, but it's just the way the community pours into it and the memories that it builds when you're part of a team that goes to Omaha. I was fortunate enough to be part of a special team that won it in '04, but I'm not so sure that all the 6 other ones I went to, it's just the memories, the lifelong memories you remember about all the families that travel there, the time you're around each other in the hotel rooms, the way the people treat you so special, Omaha. It's the greatest event in college sports, and I think that's what every college team's dream and work ethic is when they start school in August and September is getting to Omaha and that being your final destination.
Yeah, you won it in '07 with Fullerton. You took 2 teams, both Fullerton and Irvine, to the College World Series. What about the College World Series as opposed to some of the other sports, football, basketball, and some of the other major Division I college sports, makes it conducive where some of these smaller schools, not the Power Five or Power Four now, can get to Omaha?
Well, BJ, it's changing now. We could see it happening right before our very eyes that the Power Four schools are dominating, and most of that's because of the finances. Um, but it's baseball, and I've said this all along throughout my whole career. It's not the best team that wins; it's the team that plays the best that day, and that's what I think is so beautiful about our sport of baseball is what you pour into it, you get out of it sometimes. And I compare it a lot to life, BJ, is that a lot of things that happen in baseball, the trials and tribulations, the adversity you go through on a daily basis. Let's be honest, it's a failure sport. And that's where I think it evens out so much is that a team, you could be playing the best team in the country and you just be a middle of the run team, but they could hit 27 balls right at somebody in a 9 inning game and you bloop a ball over a second baseman's head to win the game. So it's just the sport is beautiful, and that's why I think some of these mid-major teams, if they get on a run, they get some luck. The postseason is all about luck. It's about talent and ability. But when you get to Omaha, it's about getting the lucky breaks. It's about maybe getting an umpire's call. Now they have the video review, so you're not going to get all the calls. But there's a lot of luck that goes. You've been part of it. You've seen it. There could be a rain delay. Your team could be up 4-1 in the seventh inning, and there's a hour and a half, 2 hour rain delay. Now you have to switch pitchers. The momentum of the game changes. So there's a lot of things that can happen. Why maybe sometimes the most powerful teams aren't going to always come out on top. And the reason why, I know last year Tennessee was the number 1 seed, but I think it was since 1999 that the number 1 seed, Miami, won the national championship. So it's an open game for 8 teams. It's an open field for 64 teams. Obviously, it's made a lot easier for the host sites and the top 8 seeds. But, you've seen it before. Fresno State, Coastal Carolina. I'm going to say Cal State Fullerton. You see a lot of the mid majors, and I hate saying that name in baseball, mid majors, but you see those programs win national championships.
Looking back on that magical run in '07 with Fullerton when you guys won the national title,
It
now
was
you
oh
have some.
BJ. It was '04. I want to correct you. It's '04.
I'm sorry,
Yeah, '04.
'04.
'07 was the
Oh,
magical run with UC Irvine, but it was '04
that's
when we
right,
won the national.
Irvine.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
'04, you win it with Fullerton. You have some years behind you now since that magical run. Looking back, what do you remember about that run?
Well, I remember something that no one else probably remembers is that we were 13 and 15 after 28 games. And we were scratching our heads. What is going on? We love the team. The team was run by George Horton. It was myself and Rick Vanderhook and Chad Baum was our staff. And we loved that team. It had guys like Kurt Suzuki on it, Ricky Romero on it. It had Jason Windsor, who was our kind of our horse on the mound. It had Justin Turner on the team, Danny Dorn, who played in the big leagues. it had some special players on that team, and we were confused. We were 13 and 15, and we notoriously always started the year with a very tough schedule in our non-conference. I mean, we got out of the gate slow, and then we brought in Dr. Ken Ravizza, who was a sports psychologist, and he kind of calmed us down a little bit. We were at each other's necks, what's going on? The team was kind of squabbling a little bit, and we just realized they loved each other so much. They wanted it so bad for the other guy that they were trying too hard. And Ken Ravizza brought up a great thing to try to find them doing more things right instead of wrong. So we kind of turned the corner and switched it to finding more positive things, even after a 13 and 15 start. And I'll tell you, we took off. And we were a really good team. We were a good team when we were 13 and 15. We just weren't winning games. And it was I'll never forget the last out. Jason Windsor on the mound, 3-2 versus Texas. We were the home team. They get a guy on in the ninth, and a fly ball to Bobby Andrews, who's now in college coaching, and it hits his glove. And I'll never remember it. It changed my whole life as a coach, as a coach. I mean, I always tell people the reason why I got an opportunity to be a head coach is the 2004 players on that team. We won a national championship, and then about 2 weeks later, I was the head coach at UC Irvine. If we don't win that national championship, I probably don't get the opportunity to go be the head coach at UC Irvine. So there's a lot of things I remember from that team. That group is still really close, and it's a special thing. I mean, to go through, and the best part is what I said: the adversity at the start of the year. It was never easy, and being good is never easy, or everybody would be good. And it was just a special run because the way it started and the way it ended for us at the end.
So you're 13 and 15. That's the low point. What's the turning point?
Baseball's all about confidence. And I won't deny we were we got into conference play, and notoriously us and Long Beach were the two teams that would fight it out for the crown, and we got hot. Now, in fact, I'm going to tell you a quick story. This is a great story for people to hear. So we're going into the last weekend against Long Beach, and they had a guy named Jared Weaver, okay, who was their Friday guy. We had a guy named Jason Windsor. And we were up by 2 games. We had to win 1 game to win the Big West Championship. And Coach Horton and the coaching staff had a meeting on Thursday, and we said, let's pitch off of Weaver. Let's go Windsor on Saturday, and let's pitch our third guy on Friday. We were assuming that Weaver was going to beat us, and we had to win 1 game. So we wanted to pitch Windsor against their Saturday guy, which happened to be another big leaguer for them. And so we told the team this Thursday at practice. And the team was pretty upset and didn't say anything when Coach Horton had to do respect that he's the leader of the program. But then after we broke and started stretching, I could hear some squabbling going on, and guys were saying, why are we doing this? If we're going to be the best, we've got to beat the best with our best. So I pulled Coach Horton aside and said, hey, you better talk to the team again. I think there's some guys that are upset that we're pitching off of Weaver, assuming he's going to beat us to win the 1 game we need. Well, we convened as a team. They said we want to beat them with our best. We ended up winning that game 2-1, and ended up sweeping that series. And I'm not so sure, BJ, as I look back, that might have been the difference right there that propelled us through the regionals, the super regionals, and on to win the national championship in Omaha. Is that team showed the grit and the toughness. We're not backing down to anybody. Okay, Jared Weaver, he's going to be one of the top picks in the country. We want to beat them if we're going to be known as the best. And I think that night was as much of a national championship for that team than when we won it on June the 27th, I believe, of 2004.
What was the scene like after that game? You win 2-1. You beat this great pitcher. What was it like?
It was unbelievable. It came down to a big pinch hit late in the game by Brett Pill, another big leaguer, coming off the bench to win. Because Coach Horton will admit today, if he was on this show, that he said, "Man, I was scratching my head late in the game, thinking, boy, this is going to backfire on us." And we ended up coming up with a late hit to win. And it was like satisfaction, I guess. Not only did we beat Jared Weaver, It's not about Jared Weaver, but it was about our team. We captured the Big West Championship, secured probably a home field advantage in the regionals, possibly locked up a super regional. So it was satisfaction that this team had overcome something and was doing something special at the end. Is when all that matters. It's not how you start; it's how you finish.